What is up, guys? ClimaxCombo back with another video. I'm Licious Kid.
And I am Checkers.
And today we have a Puzzles and Dragons builds video. In this video, we're just going to go over 3 builds that we think are notable right now. Keep in mind at the time of this recording, it's still pretty early in Puzzles and Dragons life. So if some crazy build comes out or we're missing a couple things, please forgive us. But just like the other builds video we did, we're just going to talk about a couple builds we think are notable. We're going to go over the cards that we think stick out with them, gloss over a couple considerations for those builds, and maybe like the general game plan for that deck.
All right, guys, for our first build, we have 8 gold bar, Alexander. His climax combo is at the end of this card's attack, you can choose one of the following 2 effects and resolve it. The first effect being you can choose up to 2 characters in your waiting room, add them to your hand, choose a level 1 or lower character in waiting room, send it to stock, and then until the end of your opponent's next turn, this gets plus 1k power. Or if you have 2 or more other characters, you can pay 1, discard a card to stand him. Pretty much the whole point of this build revolves around Alexander. He has a level 0 Mei card that can bring him out early, so it kind of makes his first effect pretty useful. You can bring him out at level 2, replenish your resources, and he can also double attack, so he has some finish. For 8 gold bar, you either want to pair him with this level 1 Zila. During your turn, she gets plus 2k power, making her 6k on attack. When gold bar is placed in the climax zone and you have 2 or more other characters, then until the end of your opponent's next turn, it gains the following 2 abilities of when this attacks, you can look it up to 2 cards from the top of your deck, choose 1 card, put it back on top of your deck, and send the other to the waiting room. And when this is front attacked, you can return her to your hand. And the other gold bar combo you can do is this with this level 0 Sena. She's red for whatever reason, but the climax combo is that when you play it and you have 2 or more other god characters, you can look at the top 4 cards of your deck, choose a god from among them, add it to your hand, and send the rest to waiting room. And the other effect is when your character's trigger check reveals a climax with the gold bar, you can discard a card to choose a card from your clock, add it to your hand, and then put the top card of your deck to your clock. We personally think the level 0 Sena is going to work a lot better with this build. And God is a really nice trait. A lot of the cards end up having... There's a lot of useful gods to go in the green build, so it's not really that hard to get advantage with her combo. But the whole point of the deck, as with most 8 gold bar builds, is to put on a lot of pressure on your opponent with damage, being able to do climax combos more often. And the level 0 combo and the level 3 Alexander both have a way to replenish your resources, so you can keep with the pressure. Since the deck will have a lot of god synergy, here are some notable gods that we think will be good in the build. First, there is the 2-1 Kami Musubi. The free refresh, very good to just throw in, help offset the damage a little bit. And then we have a lot of 1-0 gods that are really useful. Some get strong, some have utility. And you can run, an early play heal just to offset the damage a bit, so that way you are winning the damage race, because that's super important for gold bar builds. That's cool. And for level 0, Clean Cut works particularly well in this build, since you have Mei and Sena that you want to keep around all games, so you can use them as attack, put them in the back row, and use them throughout the game. And all your level 1s are weak on defense, so you can use those in those instances as well to gain some hand advantage. And obviously Amaterasu and Tsukiyomi, just a super strong card, help set up.
They are gods too, of course.
Yeah.
So it works out.
Yup. You can set up your level 0s, the Mei and the Sena, and just plus a bit. Not plus, but still. Good card. Great card. And I think Neptune is actually a good card to have. He only needs 4 gods to come out early, so that is very easy to accomplish with this build.
Oh my gosh, you're right. He's also a god.
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh, and you're raining some blue here too.
So you could have a strong level 2 game with that as well. I mean, the Alexanders are 11k on defense with their Climax combo. So that's also pretty cool.
Damn, and you can grab him too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this kind of sick.
I forgot.
I forgot too. Damn.
But yeah, that pretty much rounds out the build. Just, you know, gold bar. You're spamming those combos as much as possible. Refilling your hand with Alexander and the level 0 Sena, and then finishing them off with a few couple of double attacks from the Alexander. It's really nice.
Sick list.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we do have another build. This one will be the 4-color Puzzle and Dragon build. This deck we feel like actually revolves around the 1-0 Horus. He's a 1-0 4K. He's got a lot of effects. When this attacks, if you have 3 more characters, he gets plus 2k. He also combos with Door. At the start of your Encore step, if you have the Door in your Climax area, and this is in your front row, choose one of the following 2 effects and resolve it. The first one is if the number of different character colors on your stage is 4 or more, and the character across from this is reversed. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck. Choose up to 1 card amongst them, add it to your hand. Choose up to 1 card amongst them, send it to stock. Send the rest to waiting room. So that's kind of crazy. The second effect is choose 1 level 2 or higher character in your waiting room and add it to hand. So the payoff for this card is really high, and the low side of this card is not even that bad because you still get to plus without even killing anything or meeting the conditions. So we think for that reason alone, this 4-color build is pretty legit. As for who to partner her up with, we think there's 2 ways you can go this. The first obvious one that Bushi's kind of pushing is this double R3-2 Ideal, 8500 power. She combos with a choice. She has 3 effects. If you have 2 or more other characters, this gets plus 1500 power and she becomes red. The second effect is when this plays from hand to stage, you heal. And the last effect, she combos with choice when you attack and you have the choice in your Climax area. If you have all 4 colors on the board, choose up to 1 3-0 event in your waiting room, add it to your hand until the opponent's next turn. This card gets plus 1500 power and then perform the following effect where you can pay to discard a card. If you do, you may deal 2 damage to your opponent. This event is also pretty good. Pretty much just makes you more stronger on defense because you use it, and one of your 3-2 ideals gains the following effect until the end of your opponent's turn, where the character crosses loses 3 soul. Pretty legit. The other option we think that you can pair up this Horus with is actually from the trial deck, who combos with the Door, which is this 3-2 Celine, not too sure how to pronounce this. She's 10-5 base, and she has 2 effects. When this plays from hand to stage, choose up to 1 character in your hand whose level is equal to or lower than your level and place it on stage in any slot. And this turn, this gets plus 2k. And when this card's opponent battle opponent is reversed, if you have the Door in your Climax area, you can pay 2. If you do, deal 2 damage to your opponent. Then send the character to the top of their deck. So you can either go 4 choice 4 gate or 8 gate. We'll go over which one we think is better at the end of it, at the end of this little session. But you know, some other things to know about this deck. It's pretty easy for Puzzle and Dragons to get all 4 colors on the board by level 1 with this 0-0 Cutting and this 0-0 Algae. Sorry if I'm butchering these names again. Both of these cards, with the Algae and the Cutting in the back row, you get yellow, blue, and green. And then to hit the red condition, obviously Horus himself is red, so you already met the condition there. And then we have a bunch of other good 1-0s that are red, such as this Riku and Disel and this 1-0 Akine. So it works out really well. You already hit all 4 colors with that. So you can start getting the high payoffs. And the Algae and the Cutting are also very strong cards alone, so you're not really hurting your deck build to achieve this 4-color shenanigans. And so the deck is pretty strong at all levels. And of course you have the 0-0 Ami and Tsukiyomi to grab Cutting and Algae to make this all that much more consistent. And for level 2 game, you could just run the 3-2 Reach because she comes out early if you have all 4 colors as well. So pretty strong list, we think, just because the payoff for these 1-0s are really good and the finish for this deck is not bad as well. Who we think is better, we're not too sure. I think the choice gate is more fun, but I do think the 8 gate is a little stronger just because the saline, she kind of just, you could play another one with her own effect, making her strong, and the game end in the end is the same result. You just pay 2 to, burn 2. They both do the same thing in the end. You don't have to run the events in this list, so you have more deck space for other good cards. So, and honestly, that event might not be good against a lot of matchups because you still take burn damage from their crazy effects. So, I think the Saline is better, but the ideal is more fun.
Mm-hmm. I mean, options, there's always a downside, right? Both options can't be better than just having finish,
That is true. So, I don't know. If you guys are playing this list, let us know which one you opt for. Probably the ideal. I think it's more popular, but I don't know. It's cool.
For our last build, we have this crazy card, level 3 Nay, combos with a choice. First effect, when it's played from hand to stage, you can choose a character in your clock and put it to the bottom of your deck. And it climax combos with a choice. When she attacks, you can pay 1, discard a card, then mill 7 cards. If there are 3 or more cards with the soul trigger among them, deal 4 damage to your opponent. If there are 4 or more, choose up to 3 cards in your opponent's waiting room and shuffle them back into their deck. And if there's 6 or more, then deal 4 damage to your opponent again. So this card has crazy lethal potential, ton of damage, and honestly, there's a lot of support in the Puzzle and Dragons set to make this really consistent, and which is why it probably is the strongest build in Puzzle and Dragons, just because how lethal and consistent it is. That her first effect, first of all, you can choose a card with the soul trigger to put at the bottom of your deck, so you can mill that card later. That's pretty nuts. But I'm getting ahead of myself. To go on with what combo you pair with her, we think really the only option is the double R blue 1-0 combo that combos with pants. Level 1 Minaka. During your turn, if you have 2 or more other characters, she gains plus 3k power, making her 6k on offense. And the climax combo is when she attacks, and you have 3 or more other characters, reveal the top card of your deck, choose 1 level X or lower character in your waiting room, add it to hand. And if X is 2 or higher, you can send 1 card from the bottom of your deck to stock. And X is the level of the card revealed. A lot of synergy in this card. She's a 1-0 with the soul trigger, which is perfect. Pants has a soul trigger on it, which is also perfect. And the combo itself benefits from having higher level cards, which are the cards that have soul triggers, and you kind of want to fill up your lineup with those. So you have a pretty decent chance to get extra stock from this combo on top of plussing. So very solid combo with this deck. Another very key part of the build is this 2-1 Fagan. He turns the choice climaxes that Nay combos with, he gives them all soul trigger. So pretty much all your climaxes are going to have soul triggers. The only things that are not going to have soul triggers when you mill are level 0s, which is pretty nuts. And on the topic of soul triggers, there are a couple more cards to think about. This 1-0 Maida, easy yellow, he also has a soul trigger, which is very important. And he also has some synergy with the Nay, because he can shuffle characters in your waiting room back into the deck, so you can set up a bit more with that card. So he's pretty useful. And then lastly, for level 0, we do have this blue card that sends itself to memory. You search for a dragon, which this build, most cards are dragon traits, so you can search for anything. But the important part is that she's sending herself to memory, which means there are less chances of you not milling soul triggers when it's finally time to combo with the Nay. So there are a lot of cards that revolve around the consistency of the Nay, which makes it very lethal to put 3 of those Nay down. And the combo is not even very expensive. So very strong. I mean, for the rest of the lineup, level 2s, you just kind of want the standard stuff. Early play level 3s. Escamari is really good for this build. the 2-1 Ryusei. It's just Adachi. A good way to round out your soul triggers. Have the bare minimum level 0s pretty much. Just whatever you need to kind of function. Brainstorm, the memory sender, all that good stuff. And yeah, it's relatively simple. I think the build's not necessarily super weak at any point, I would say. Good, solid level 1 combo, level 2 options, and it all comes together in the level 3 Nay, being able to finish your opponent very scarily. A shitload of damage.
Yeah, the build is like super whatever, and then when you hit level 3, it doesn't matter. It's kind of like, yeah, it's just you're just dead. You're just dead with the right setup, which is pretty legit with the Maeda and Nay and the Fakan.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty much game over if you get at least the full build of the full effect of one of them all. So this build is pretty sick.
Yeah, really cool. Really
4,
cool stuff.
Shuffle 3, 4, and then her attack. It's like, what the hell? It's like, yeah, you're taking 3 attacks from one card for pay 1 ditch. It's pretty insane. But that is our Puzzles and Dragons builds video, guys. This set is really cool. The build just kind of ended up building themselves after looking more into it. But that's, I guess, kind of the nature of sets with just one booster pack. But we think Bushiro still did a fun and unique take on all these builds, and they're all very different enough to, you know, make them cool and interesting and have a place maybe in your deck lineup. I don't know. Ooh, yes, in your deck box.
Yep. All right. So let us know, guys, what build is your favorite if you're gonna run them. Anything we missed, you know, feel free to leave it in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Stick around for more builds videos, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Peace.